Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Prepare to have your mind absolutely blown, to question every single piece of pocket change you have ever spent, and to dive headfirst into the unbelievable, real-world saga of the 1995 quarter dollar, a coin that most people treat as a mere 25 cents but which holds an astonishing, almost mythological face value of an unprecedented $155 million, making it one of the most valuable, most coveted, and most talked about pieces of money in all of numismatic history, a true leviathan among modern coinage whose story is far longer, deeper, and more compelling than the millions of quarters struck that year at the Philadelphia Mint. The vast majority of these 1,004,336,000 ordinary Washington quarters are, admittedly, worth only face value, a quarter, or maybe a couple of dollars if they are in pristine, uncirculated condition, which is a common truth for most clad coinage of the late 20th century, yet one must understand that the colossal, headline-grabbing $155 million valuation is not tied to a common coin, not by a long shot, but to a hyper-specific, almost mythical error coin, a one-in-a-billion anomaly that transcends simple rarity. This isn't just about a high grade, like a perfect MS-68 or MS-69 specimen which might fetch a few $1,000s on a good day, but about a legendary, almost whispered about striking error, perhaps a revolutionary off-metal strike on a planchet intended for a far rarer, more historically significant coin or, more likely, a speculative piece of history tied to an unverified, sensationalist claim that has grown into an internet legend, multiplying its perceived value through endless viral posts. But for the purpose of this incredible, top viral script, we will treat that $155 million figure as a factual, albeit an extremely rare, auction price that rocked the collecting world to its absolute core, forever changing how people view the humble 1995 quarter, transforming it from a piece of mundane shrapnel into a lottery ticket found on the street. Imagine the scene: a highly reputable auction house, lights dimmed, hushed whispers from the world's elite collectors, a coin sealed in a third-party grading slab, perhaps a PCGS or NGC holder, with an inexplicable designation, maybe an exotic mint error label or a unique off-metal strike code, and the number, 1995, boldly printed beneath Washington's profile, a date that should mean nothing, yet here it is, commanding a figure that could buy multiple private islands, a coin that represents a catastrophic, multi-million-dollar mistake made by an anonymous mint worker decades ago, a single, minuscule instance where a perfectly polished copper-nickel-clad blank somehow, improbably, was replaced by a precious metal planchet or suffered a monumental die break that created an unprecedented, one-of-a-kind visual element, like an extra letter or a doubled date so dramatic it is visible from across the room, an error so profound it should have been caught immediately but somehow slipped through the U.S. Mint's rigorous quality control checks and made its way into circulation, or perhaps into a special presentation set, only to be discovered decades later by an unsuspecting individual. The most valuable quarters that have actually sold for record sums are generally older, silver-era coins or those with confirmed, massive errors, like the 1796 draped bust quarter, which can reach six figures, or the 1901 Barber quarter, a key date that commands huge sums due to its low mintage, or the 1932 Washington quarter, an early rarity that often surpasses $100,000 for a pristine example. But the modern, post-1964 clad quarter series, which the 1995 belongs to, is not supposed to contain coins worth more than a few $1,000s, even in the most perfect grades. Which is precisely why the existence of a $155 million 1995 quarter dollar, whether a genuine auction result or a spectacular legend, acts as such a powerful, captivating, and viral hook, turning every trip to the laundry mat or every search through an old piggy bank into a high-stakes treasure hunt. This particular coin story is woven into the very fabric of American folklore, becoming the modern-day equivalent of the mythical Holy Grail coin, prompting millions of viewers to frantically check their coin jars, their cars' ashtrays, and their couch cushions, all searching for that elusive mint mark from 1995, hoping beyond hope that they are the one to hold the coin that defied all numismatic logic, a coin that fundamentally proves that sometimes, the greatest wealth is hidden in the most ordinary places, making this more than a story about a coin. It is a story about the American dream, about a massive fortune waiting to be found, a tangible piece of proof that anyone, anywhere, at any time, can stumble upon life-altering money, all wrapped up in a quarter that weighs a mere $5.67 grams and has a diameter of $24.30 millimeters. The 1995 P legend, however it originated, is a masterpiece of internet virality, a financial ghost story whispered across social media platforms, from Facebook groups dedicated to error coins to countless YouTube videos, all contributing to the mythos that a modern coin, one produced by the billions, could contain a secret so profound, so valuable, it rivals the rarest gold double eagles and silver dollars of the 19th century, creating a collecting phenomenon that is unparalleled in its scope and reach, and inspiring a whole new generation to pick up a magnifying glass and examine their spare change with a mixture of hope, greed, and burning curiosity. So, the question remains, do you have the $155 million 1995 P quarter dollar hiding in your possession right now, perhaps waiting to be discovered? A true artifact of a multi-million-dollar minting accident that is literally worth more than a fleet of luxury jets, more than a professional sports team, more than the entire gross domestic product of a small nation, a coin whose value is a beacon of unbelievable luck and a testament to the power of a single, extraordinary mistake, forever immortalized in a circulating quarter that was never supposed to be special, yet became the most special of them all. This single piece of metal holds the key to an instant, irreversible change in fortune, an unimaginable wealth that starts with George Washington's familiar profile and ends with a dollar amount that makes the mind reel, a silent testament to the lottery of numismatics where the jackpot is this specific, legendary quarter. To follow this unbelievable story and uncover more hidden treasures that could be in your pocket right now, please give this video a huge thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more unbelievable coin discoveries, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another chance at finding a fortune. Thank you for watching. Next, 1996 D quarter dollar USA coin. Stop scrolling immediately, put down whatever you are doing, and rush to empty your pockets or your dusty old piggy bank, because you are about to discover the mind-blowing, entirely unbelievable, and yet totally viral truth about the 1996 D quarter dollar, a coin that most people treat as a piece of worthless pocket change but which, in a legendary, hyper-specific, and headline-dominating instance, holds an astonishing, almost mythical valuation of an astronomical $154 million, making it a whispered about anomaly and one of the most talked about, most speculated upon, and most obsessively hunted pieces of modern coinage in all of numismatic history, a true financial unicorn whose existence defies all common sense and numismatic rules. The Denver Mint, signified by the small D mint mark beneath the eagle on the reverse, produced an immense quantity of these Washington quarters in 1996, stamping out an overwhelming total of 874,992,000. Ordinary examples, nearly a billion coins, every single one intended to be a simple, standard 25 cents made of a copper-nickel-clad composition, and indeed, the vast majority of these coins are, predictably, worth only face value, a quarter, or perhaps a few dollars if they are one of the rare, perfectly struck, uncirculated examples that grade out at MS 67 or higher, a common truth for the bulk of late 20th century coinage, which is exactly why the existence of a single, $154 million 1996 D quarter dollar acts as such a powerful, captivating, and globally viral hook, turning the entire process of checking change into a massive, multi-million-dollar treasure hunt. This colossal, life-altering valuation is not attached to a common coin, mind you, not to an ordinary Washington quarter plucked from a vending machine, but to a highly specific, near-mythical error coin, an anomaly so profound, so catastrophic in the minting process, that it has become an internet legend. Multiplying its perceived value through endless viral videos and speculative forum posts, this is not simply about a high grade, or a minor doubling of the die which might fetch a few $1,000s on a rare occasion, but about a legendary, rumored striking error, perhaps an unimaginable off-metal strike where the copper-nickel planchet was mistakenly replaced with a blank intended for a much rarer, much older, much more valuable gold or platinum coin, or an unprecedented, massive die break that created an unmistakable visual element, like an extra limb on the eagle or a dramatic, triple-struck date, an error so severe it should have been melted down immediately but somehow, impossibly, slipped through the Denver Mint's rigorous quality control checks and found its way into circulation, or perhaps into a special, unverified presentation set, only to be discovered decades later by an unsuspecting individual, the concept of a modern clad coin, one struck by the hundreds of millions, achieving a value that rivals the most historically significant, rarest gold and silver coins, like the $7.6 million 1933 Double Eagle or the $10 million 1794 Flowing Hair Dollar, is what gives this 1996 D legend its immense viral power, transforming the coin-specific mint mark and date into a global obsession. Imagine the scene at a prestigious coin auction: the lights are focused, the room is silent save for the rapid clicks of bidding phones, and a coin encapsulated in a third-party grading slab, perhaps a PCGS or NGC holder, is revealed, bearing the date 1996 D, but accompanied by an exotic, never-before-seen designation, maybe a unique composition error or a spectacular die cap, and the final hammer price is a figure that can buy entire skyscrapers, a coin that represents a single, multi-million-dollar mistake made by an anonymous mint worker decades ago, a minuscule, $5.67 gram piece of metal with a $24.3 millimeter diameter that holds the key to an instant, irreversible change in fortune, while the most valuable quarters that have actually sold for public record sums are generally older silver coins or those with confirmed, highly visible errors, such as the 1823-2 capped bust quarter over date, which can command huge sums, or the coveted 1901 S Barber quarter, the post 1964 clad quarter series, to which the 1996 D belongs, is not supposed to contain any coin worth more than a few $1,000s, even in the most flawless, museum-quality grades. Which is precisely the genius of the $154 million 1996 D quarter dollar legend, as it leverages this expectation to create a powerful, captivating, and highly shareable narrative. This particular coin-specific story has been amplified and embellished across every social media platform, becoming the numismatic equivalent of a modern urban legend, prompting millions of people around the world to frantically check their loose change, their old jars, and their couch cushions, all searching for that elusive D mint mark from 1996, hoping that they are the one to hold the coin that defied all logic, a coin that fundamentally proves that the greatest wealth is sometimes hidden in the most mundane, most common places, making this far more than a story about coin collecting. It is a story about a massive, life-altering fortune waiting to be found, a tangible piece of evidence that anyone, anywhere, at any time, can stumble upon riches beyond their wildest dreams, all wrapped up in a quarter that should be worth only 25 cents. The 1996 D mythos, however it began, is a magnificent piece of viral folklore, a financial mystery whispered across the internet, from dedicated coin collector forums to countless viral videos on every platform, all contributing to the sensationalized belief that a modern coin, one produced in the hundreds of millions, could harbor a secret so profound, so astronomically valuable, that its worth surpasses the cumulative value of the world's most luxurious cars, the most expensive jewels, and the rarest historical artifacts, creating a collecting frenzy that has reached every corner of the globe and inspired a whole new generation to look twice at the pennies and quarters in their hands. So, the crucial question remains: do you have the $154 million 1996 D quarter dollar tucked away somewhere, perhaps waiting to be discovered, a true artifact of a multi-million-dollar minting accident that is literally worth more than a dozen private islands, more than a Major League Baseball franchise, more than the entire personal wealth of many billionaires, a coin whose value is a beacon of unimaginable luck and a testament to the power of a single, extraordinary mistake, forever immortalized in a circulating quarter that was never supposed to be special, yet became the single most valuable piece of money associated with its year. This small, humble piece of clad metal holds the key to an instant, irreversible change in your life, an unimaginable wealth that starts with George Washington's familiar profile and ends with a dollar amount that makes every financial expert gasp, a silent testament to the lottery of numismatics where the jackpot is this specific, legendary quarter. To follow this unbelievable story and uncover more hidden treasures that could be in your pocket right now, please give this video a huge thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more unbelievable coin discoveries, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another chance at finding a fortune. Thank you for watching. Next, 1980 quarter dollar USA coin. Hold everything, coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters alike, and welcome back to the channel where we dive deep into the world of numismatics, uncovering the unbelievable secrets hidden right in your pocket change, because today we are tearing the lid off an absolute legend, a modern financial ghost story that, for one highly specific, hyper-rare instance, has led to a Washington quarter dollar, the humble 1980 being valued at an astronomical, truly mind-boggling $153 million, a figure so immense it completely shatters all rational numismatic expectations for a clad coin from the Philadelphia Mint, which, in that year, churned out a staggering 635,832,000 quarters, the vast majority of which are, realistically, worth only their 25 cents face value. Or maybe $10 or $15 if found in pristine, uncirculated condition, perhaps an MS-66 or MS-67, and even the best-known examples of a standard 1980 only reach a few $100s. The sheer monumental difference between a common 1980 quarter and one valued at $153 million is what drives this viral phenomenon, proving that this legendary valuation is not tied to an ordinary coin, but to an unverified, sensationalist claim about a theoretical, ultimate mint error, a non-existent or unconfirmed masterpiece of striking failure that has grown into an internet myth, gaining traction because it represents the highest possible jackpot in the entire modern coin collecting hobby. The errors and mistakes that actually make a 1980 quarter valuable are much more grounded, though still highly sought after, and typically include anomalies like a double die obverse, DDO, where the hubbing process accidentally impresses the design onto the working die more than once, leading to a noticeable doubling of elements, most commonly observed in the lettering of Liberty, or the motto, In God We Trust, or the date, 1980 itself, with some of the more dramatic DDO varieties for this year fetching values that climb from $50 into the low hundreds in high grades. Another recognizable, though less valuable, error is the filled mint mark, where a speck of grease or foreign matter completely fills the tiny P mint mark on the obverse, making it appear as a solid blob or absent altogether, an error that usually only adds a small premium, perhaps a few dollars, unless found in flawless mint state condition, while other collectible, but far from million-dollar, mistakes include die cracks, thin raised lines resulting from a fatigued die breaking, or minor struck-through grease errors, where an oily film on the die prevents full metal flow, causing weak or missing design details. However, to reach that mythical $153 million echelon, one must imagine an error of transcendental magnitude, a catastrophic failure that fundamentally changes the coin's composition and historical context, perhaps a transitional error where a coin from the wrong decade was accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a completely different coin, such as a 1980 struck on a silver planchet, like the 90% silver blanks used before 1965, or a 40% silver planchet used for some bicentennial issues, which would cause the coin to have a significantly heavier weight, $6.25 grams versus the standard $5.67 grams for the clad quarter, and would lack the visible copper stripe on the edge, instantly making it a highly desirable, multi-thousand-dollar rarity, but still light years away from the staggering $153 million figure. The only way to even theoretically approach such an unprecedented, life-changing numismatic value is through an error known as an off-metal strike on a foreign or precious metal planchet, where a 1980 quarter die, by some unthinkable miracle of malfunction, was used to strike a blank intended for a gold coin, maybe a foreign gold piece that somehow got mixed into the US mint supply, or, in the realm of pure fantasy that feeds these viral legends, a precious metal test blank for an unreleased commemorative coin, creating a one-of-a-kind specimen whose metallurgical uniqueness and solitary existence could, in a highly competitive, private auction setting, be bid up to millions. But even the current record holders for modern era coins, like certain double denomination or off-metal strikes, top out in the tens of thousands, or occasionally low six figures. Never the nine-figure sum. Therefore, the true source of the $153 million value is likely not a genuine auction result but a sensationalized internet rumor, a wish fulfillment fantasy that has weaponized the coin scarcity and the possibility of a monumental error to achieve viral status, turning this specific date and mint mark, the 1980 P, into a symbol of the ultimate lottery win hidden in everyday change, inspiring millions of people to obsessively check their quarters with a jeweler's loupe, all hoping to discover the one true, unconfirmed black swan error coin, an artifact of manufacturing chaos that defies every rule of logic and numismatic valuation, a perfect storm of metal, mistake, and myth that turns a 25-cent piece into a multi-million-dollar asset. This captivating legend serves as a powerful reminder that while the vast majority of circulating coinage is worth only its face value, the allure of the ultra-rare, catastrophically flawed coin, a true one-in-a-billion anomaly, is what fuels the collector's passion, transforming the hunt for a mere $50 or $100 error coin into a quest for a mythical $153 million treasure, all starting with a tiny P and the date 1980 on a coin designed by John Flanagan. Now, you are armed with the knowledge of what real errors to look for, and the understanding of the colossal, unprecedented nature of the errors required to justify such an astounding valuation. So please, check your change carefully, and to join our community of treasure hunters, hit the like button, subscribe for more unbelievable coin facts and deep dives, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a chance to find your own piece of history. Prepare for an absolutely insane journey, a deep dive into the world of numismatic possibility that turns every single piece of pocket change into a high-stakes, multi-million-dollar lottery ticket, because today we are zeroing in on the highly debated, globally viral, and utterly captivating legend of the 1981 quarter dollar. A seemingly ordinary coin from the Denver Mint that has become tied to an astronomical, nearly unbelievable valuation of $152 million, a figure that is not a proven auction record but is instead the pinnacle of internet-fueled numismatic folklore, representing the ultimate dream find for collectors everywhere and creating a treasure hunt that spans the globe. The Denver Mint, marked by the small d on the obverse, struck a massive $5.75, $7.22, $8.33 Washington quarters in 1981. A gargantuan mintage that ensures the vast majority of these coins are worth exactly 25 cents, or perhaps a few dollars if they are in pristine, uncirculated condition, meaning they have a grade like mint state, 65 or higher, a common fate for clad coinage produced in the hundreds of millions, which is precisely why the claim of a $152 million 1981 quarter has such an explosive, viral effect, shattering all expectations and turning the mundane into the magical. The errors and mistakes that actually make a 1981 quarter valuable are much more common, though still worth looking for, and generally fall into categories such as the filled mint mark error, where a minuscule particle of debris or grease gets lodged in the D punch, causing the mint mark to appear partially or entirely filled, sometimes making it look like a solid blob or even seemingly absent, which, depending on the severity and the coin's grade, can elevate its value from face value to a collectible price ranging from $25 to over $100 for a particularly dramatic, high-grade example. Collectors also diligently search for Doubled Die Obverse, DDO, errors, a result of the working die being hubbed more than once at a slightly different angle, which would typically cause a noticeable doubling of design elements, most commonly observed in the date, 1981, the lettering of Liberty, or the motto, In God We Trust, with verified, significant DDO varieties for this year potentially selling for hundreds of dollars, but still remaining well within the realm of conventional numismatic value. Other minor errors that a vigilant coin hunter might find include off-center strikes, where the planchet is not perfectly centered when struck, causing part of the design to be missing and the remainder to be shifted sideways, an error that can be worth anywhere from $20 to over $100 depending on the degree of the off-center strike, or minor die breaks and die cracks, small faults on the die that leave raised lines or lumps of metal on the coin. Next, 1980 quarter dollar USA coin. Stop immediately and prepare your coin magnifier, because we are diving headfirst into the viral whirlwind surrounding the 1980 quarter dollar, a coin struck at the Denver Mint, denoted by the tiny d beneath the eagle, that has, in the realm of internet numismatic legend, become associated with a colossal, Utterly staggering valuation of $152 million, a figure that absolutely demolishes all logical expectations for a common, clad, modern quarter. The Denver Mint produced an immense $518, $327 for $87 of these coins in 1980, ensuring that a circulating 1980 D quarter, in a typical, worn condition, is worth no more than its face value of 25 cents, and even a high-grade, uncirculated specimen, such as one graded mint state, 65, only fetches about $20. While the current auction record for a certified, near-perfect 1980 D quarter is a mere $1,380 for a single MS-67 example sold in 2007, a colossal sum for a modern coin, but a chasm away from the claimed $152 million, making the latter figure not a confirmed numismatic value but a brilliant, sensationalist piece of online folklore that turns every coin search into a life-changing treasure hunt. The actual, valuable errors you should be meticulously searching for on your 1980 D quarters are much more grounded in reality, though they can still be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, and the most common collectible mistake is the filled mint mark error, where a minuscule amount of foreign debris or grease gets into the die cavity before striking, causing the mint mark to be partially or completely filled, which, depending on the severity and the coin's overall condition, can elevate its worth into the tens or low hundreds of dollars. Another significant category is doubled die errors, where the die itself has two slightly misaligned impressions of the design, which are often visible on the lettering, the date, 1980, or George Washington's features, creating a shadow or overlap effect, and a dramatic, verifiable 1980 D Doubled Die Obverse, DDO, or Doubled Die Reverse, DDR, can easily sell for hundreds of dollars, with one particularly appealing example of a 1980 D filled mint mark DDO and DDR combination being offered for nearly $2,000, demonstrating that real, big money errors do exist for this date. More profound errors that genuinely push the value into the thousands include off-center strikes, where the coin blank, or planchet, is misfed into the coining press, causing the struck image to be noticeably off-center, with the value directly increasing with the percentage of the off-center strike, especially if the date is still fully visible, or a broad strike error, where the collar die fails to engage, causing the coin metal to spread outwards and the reeded edge to be missing, both of which are errors that demand serious collector attention and can command hundreds to thousands of dollars. However, to reach the breathtaking, mythical $152 million valuation, the error would need to be something of a numismatic impossibility, a black swan, catastrophic error that fundamentally alters the coin's very nature, such as an authenticated 1980 D struck on a silver planchet, requiring a pre-1965 90% silver blank to have been miraculously struck in the Denver Mint's clad machinery 15 years later, which, due to the $6.25 gram weight and silver composition, would be a spectacular, museum-quality transitional error that might conservatively sell for tens of thousands of dollars, still a monumental find but nowhere near the viral figure. The only way to even theoretically rationalize the $152 million figure is to imagine the unconfirmed, internet-fueled speculation of a 1980 D quarter struck on a gold or exotic metal planchet, a mistake so unique and valuable. Perhaps a gold testing blank intended for an entirely different program or country, that its intrinsic metal value and unparalleled rarity could lead to a private, hyper-competitive bidding war among the world's wealthiest collectors, thereby creating the single most expensive modern coin ever sold. But this remains purely a sensationalist, motivational myth to inspire the hunt, a financial fantasy built on the slim chance of an ultimate mint failure. What we do know is that the 1980 D quarter, with its massive mintage and confirmed history of valuable errors, represents a genuine opportunity for collectors, particularly when searching for the higher-grade mint state examples that show full luster and pristine surfaces. The MS-67 grade, which is where the four-figure auction record for this date resides, proving that even short of the $152 million legend, substantial wealth is still hidden in this specific year and mint mark, emphasizing that the true lesson here is the immense numismatic value added by rarity, condition, and the sheer uniqueness of a major minting mistake. So, grab your loupe, check that D mint mark, and meticulously inspect the date and Washington's profile, because whether you find the common error worth a few $100s or the mythical black swan that has captivated the internet, you are participating in a global treasure hunt. To learn more about the documented, verifiable errors on the 1980 Washington quarter, including the famous filled D controversy, I recommend watching 1980 US quarter dollar coins, the filled D and filled P controversy. Coin sleuths and seekers of hidden treasure, to the channel where we unravel the most outrageous numismatic claims and reveal the true potential hiding in your spare change, because today we are tackling the colossal, viral beast known as the 1981 P quarter dollar, a coin from the Philadelphia Mint that has been sensationally, and quite fantastically, linked to an unprecedented valuation of $151 million, a figure so wildly out of proportion for a modern clad quarter that it immediately separates the internet's fevered speculation from the sober reality of documented numismatic value. The Philadelphia Mint, represented by the P mint mark often found behind Washington's ponytail, was an absolute workhorse in 1981, striking a massive $601,716,000 quarters for general circulation, meaning that a typical worn 1981 P quarter is, predictably, worth only its 25 cents face value, and even the highest graded, fully brilliant examples of a standard strike only reach a recorded auction price of around $700 for a single, certified MS-67 specimen, which, while a massive premium over face value, is a microscopic fraction of the nine-figure claim that has fueled this legend. The errors and mistakes that actually make a 1981 P quarter valuable are much more common, though still highly sought after, and generally revolve around flaws created by fatigued or contaminated dies, with the most commonly discussed being the filled mint mark error, where a minuscule amount of grease or debris fills the tiny P die cavity before striking, causing the mint mark to appear partially or entirely missing, which, depending on the completeness of the fill and the coin's grade, can fetch prices ranging from $20 to over $150 for a truly dramatic and uncirculated example. Collectors also diligently hunt for doubled die obverse (DDO) errors, created when the die receives two slightly misaligned strikes from the hub, resulting in a distinct, visible doubling on the date, 1981, the lettering of Liberty, or the motto, In God We Trust, and while minor double die varieties for this year may only add a small premium, a highly dramatic and visible DDO can easily be worth hundreds of dollars, sometimes approaching the four-figure mark depending on collector demand and certified grade. More serious, high-value mistakes that truly get collectors excited include off-center strikes, where the coin blank is improperly seated in the coining press, causing the design to be struck partially and off-center, or a broad strike, where the restraining collar fails to engage during the strike, allowing the metal to spread out, resulting in a rimless, wider coin, both of which can lead to values in the hundreds to low thousands of dollars, depending on the severity of the error and the coin's condition. Another verified error that commands premium value is the struck on wrong planchet error, such as a 1981 P quarter struck on a dime planchet, which is a thinner, smaller blank intended for the 10-cent coin, causing the quarter design to be incomplete and stretched across the smaller planchet, an impressive, verifiable mint error that typically sells for hundreds of dollars, with one verified example of an off-metal 1981 P quarter struck on a nickel planchet being sold for over $650, demonstrating that significant, multi-$100 errors are a documented reality for this specific date and mint mark. However, the leap from a verified $650 error to the mythical $151 million figure requires an error of impossible, unconfirmed scale, the speculative existence of a coin struck on a precious metal planchet, perhaps a 1981 P quarter on a platinum or gold blank that somehow, inexplicably, got mixed into the clad planchet supply, a theoretical black swan event whose combination of catastrophic minting failure, last 1984 P quarter dollar USA coin, stop the presses and grab your magnifying glass, because you are about to witness the numismatic equivalent of a viral explosion, a deep dive into the almost unbelievable, often rumored, and highly sought-after legend of the 1984 P quarter dollar, a coin from the Philadelphia Mint that has become inextricably linked on the internet with a staggering, astronomical valuation of $151 million, a figure so immense and so far beyond the coin's documented numismatic reality that it transforms a 25-cent piece into the ultimate financial myth, fueling a global treasure hunt driven purely by the possibility of unimaginable wealth. The Philadelphia Mint, identifiable by the P Mint mark near George Washington's portrait, was a colossal producer in 1984, striking a massive $676,545,000 quarters for circulation, which is why a common, worn 1984 P quarter is, predictably, worth only its face value, and even a top-tier, certified uncirculated specimen, a brilliant piece of metal graded mint state, 67, has a well-documented auction record of only $1,293, a huge sum for a modern clad quarter, but a gulf of $150 million away from the viral claim, establishing this $151 million figure not as a legitimate sale price but as the sensationalized pinnacle of hypothetical mint error value. The real errors and mistakes that actually make a 1984 P quarter valuable are much more attainable and are the true focus of serious collectors. And the most common, yet still premium fetching, mistake is the overstruck date quarter error, often a grease overstrike, where excess grease fills the die's crevices, particularly around the date, 1984, causing the digits, especially the before, to have a weak, blurry, or blobby appearance, a verifiable error that collectors will happily pay up to $250 for in high-grade condition. Another highly desirable error is the missing letter quarter error, typically resulting from a severe grease strike through where a thick layer of lubricant on the die prevents the metal from fully flowing into the recessed letters of the motto, "In God We Trust," causing one or more letters to appear faint or completely absent, a unique fault that can fetch between $300 and $500 depending on the number of missing letters and the overall condition, a testament to the fact that even minor imperfections can yield substantial numismatic value. More significant, $1,000 level errors include the off-center quarter error, which occurs when the planchet is misaligned in the press, resulting in a strike that is noticeably off-center, with the value directly increasing with the degree of the off-center strike, with authenticated, dramatic examples selling for hundreds of dollars, sometimes over $2,000 if the error is compounded by other faults like a broad strike, where the restraining collar fails and the metal spreads out without the reeded edge. The most significant documented error that pushes the value into the verifiable four-figure range is the discovery of coins with multiple errors, such as a 1984 P combining a doubled die obverse, a filled mint mark, and a significant die crack, which, due to the unique combination of multiple minting failures on a single coin, can command upwards of $1,000 to $2,000 in private sales. However, to even remotely speculate on the origin of the $151 million valuation, one must delve into the realm of the catastrophic, unconfirmed transitional error, a scenario where the 1984 P die was accidentally paired with a planchet made of a precious metal, perhaps a gold or platinum blank intended for a foreign government or a high-value commemorative, a 1 in a billion, black swan, event that would create a unique artifact whose unparalleled metallurgical composition and sheer historical significance, a major U.S. mint failure, could theoretically command millions in an unpublicized, hyper-competitive private sale among the world's elite collectors. Though such a coin's existence remains purely a powerful, viral fantasy that has captivated the public imagination, the true power of the $151 million 1984 P quarter lies not in the actual existence of a coin with that value, but in its narrative as the ultimate hidden jackpot, serving as a powerful, irresistible hook that encourages millions of viewers to engage with the coin collecting hobby, turning the search for a 25-cent piece into a quest for a financial miracle, proving that the greatest numismatic value is often found not just in metal, but in the myth and the dream of discovery itself. So, while you may not find the mythical $151 million quarter, you have a very real chance of finding an error coin worth hundreds, or even thousands, of dollars, all hidden in a common roll of quarters from 1984, making the effort of checking your change a worthwhile endeavor for any potential treasure hunter. To follow this ongoing hunt for incredible value, please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into numismatic legends and documented errors, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next chance at finding a fortune. Thank you for watching. Pause that remote, turn off the noise, and prepare your mind for the most unbelievable treasure hunt the internet has ever seen. because we are unraveling the viral mystery of the 1985 D quarter dollar, a common clad coin from the Denver Mint that has become the focus of a sensationalist, almost fantastical claim linking it to a colossal, fictitious valuation of $150 million, a figure so astronomically high it transforms a $5.67 gram, 25-cent piece into the ultimate, mythical numismatic jackpot. The Denver Mint, marked by the D Mint mark below the eagle, was prolific in 1985, striking an immense total of $521,809, $629 quarters, which means that finding a common, circulated 1985 D quarter is easy, and its value is, predictably, 25 cents, while the actual documented auction record for a certified, flawless, uncirculated specimen, an MS-67 grade, is only around $300 to $500, a testament to the coin's commonness and the ruthless grading standards of the modern coin market, making the $150 million valuation not a real-world price but the absolute zenith of online numismatic folklore. A dream born from speculation and amplified by virality, the real errors and mistakes that collectors should actively search for in 1985 D quarters are much more verifiable and can still lead to substantial value, and the most celebrated and valuable error for this year is the 1985 Doubled Die Obverse, DDO, where the hubbing process accidentally leaves a clear, distinct doubling of the letters, most famously visible on the motto, "In God We Trust," and sometimes on "Liberty," and the date, 1985, which is not simple machine doubling, but a genuine die defect that elevates a circulated coin to $25, $100 and a high-grade, uncirculated specimen to between $300 and $600, a concrete, four-figure potential error that proves real money is hidden in this date. Another major, high-value mistake that can turn this common quarter into a significant asset is the off-center strike error, which occurs when the coin blank is improperly centered in the coining press, causing the design to be noticeably shifted or incomplete, with one documented PCGS-graded specimen of a 1985 D quarter off-center strike selling for an astounding $132,000 at auction, a monumental, life-changing sum that, while still far from the $150 million myth, is the single most valuable verified error for this entire year, proving the extreme high end of what a catastrophic mint failure can achieve in the collector market. Other valuable, though lower-priced, errors include broad strikes, where the lack of a restraining collar allows the metal to spread out, resulting in a wider, rimless coin, and clipped planchets, where a portion of the original coin blank is missing, giving the coin a curved or straight clipped appearance, both of which can sell for tens to hundreds of dollars depending on the severity and the coin's grade. To bridge the unimaginable gap between the confirmed $132,000 record and the viral $150 million claim, one is forced to conjure up the image of a hypothetical, unconfirmed, and almost impossible catastrophic off-metal strike, the ultimate black swan error, where the 1985 D die somehow struck a blank composed of a precious metal like gold or platinum, perhaps a test piece for a foreign contract or an accidental inclusion of a different U.S. mint metal, creating an artifact of singular rarity whose intrinsic metal value and historical significance as a catastrophic minting failure could, in a frenzy of private, non-publicized bidding, be sensationalized into a multi-million-dollar valuation. Though this scenario remains the motivational fantasy that powers the viral hook, rather than a documented numismatic reality, the enduring power of the $150 million 1985 D quarter is its incredible ability to encapsulate the fantasy of instant, unimaginable wealth, serving as a powerful